Everyone is vibe coding right now. You give Claude an idea, hit go, and a demo comes out. It feels like magic until you try to actually build something. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you guys the exact system that I'm using to turn the vibe coding into actually shipping software. Vibe coding, what is the definition of that? Essentially, it's you put an idea into your agent, whether that's Claude Code or Codex or whatever you're using, code comes out. There's no plan, no feature spec, no tests. It's just prompt, generate the code, run it. It's great for prototypes, throwaway scripts or like small tools that you want to build, learning and proving in an idea in like just a couple hours. The catch for this is that you'll lose like a source of truth or grounding onto like the rules that you originally decided in maybe a previous prompt. It'll just start to hallucinate and veer off of the original direction the more that you iterate with purely vibe coding with no guardrails, no rules. For shipping like a really big full stack application, it's not ideal. So vibe engineering fixes all these problems by giving the AI the same things that a real engineering team needs. I've been in software for 10 years. I've been a developer, I've been a product manager. I know like from the top level, from being a product in product management, like what is required for like an enterprise application. And so you take those ideas and then you apply all of that, and I'm talking PRD, functional spec, those are interchangeable product requirements document, functional spec, that's sort of like your North Star. Like what are we building, who's it for, why are we building it, what's in scope, what's out of scope. From there, we can also have a roadmap, an MVP plan, sequence the work into major milestones, maybe like 3 to 5 milestones of like big pushes to get out features that you're building for each milestone. So maybe one milestone contains like 10 features. We spec out each of these features. In Jira, you might know like any project management tool has like epics and stories and tasks or whatever. So you break down the features into the project management tool, where have the AI build all of the descriptions and you review them and say like, okay, this looks good. And now you have a whole entire blueprint of what your application is doing, who's it for, why you're building it, all of the steps to actually build it, and then you can start to vibe code. Along with this, you'll also want to do like spec-driven development. That essentially is saying like, all right, take all of our feature specs, keep iterating until the criteria of those is finished. Test-driven development, saying like, all right, we're gonna first write unit tests. Once these tests pass, and those can be automated tests too, once they pass, then we can consider it done. So that helps just give the AI small tasks and easy measurable goals to go for, so it's not just so open-ended and loose with the scope that is a problem with vibe coding. To break work out into GitHub issues and tasks, that really is helpful because we know that Claude Code, if you're using that, works really well with GitHub. Pretty much every vibe coding software like Codex and any IDE, if you're still using those.
At Anthropic, we see up close how fast the model is getting better. And so I think there's a good chance that by the end of the year, people aren't using IDEs anymore.
Then another thing that I highly recommend doing is creating a doc site. And I've used MKDocs before, but recently I've been doing Docusaurus and just continuing to update the documentation for your project. Maybe like you can add that into AutoMD in the project where you say like, here's a requirement, every task that you finish, update the developer docs. The automated CI/CD pipeline, this is important to actually ship the software. So another thing that I've been doing is I use AWS, and I know this will work with Azure and Google Cloud as well. They all have MCP or CLI tools. So bring those into your agent and have your agent help you build the infrastructure, and do this before you actually start shipping code, or at least once you just do an MVP. Do this as soon as possible because this can be a big bottleneck. So make sure that your infrastructure is stood up for development, staging, and prod. Doesn't have to be all three, it could just be 2. It could be just 1, 2, depending on what you want to do. But at least set up the infrastructure early. And what I mean by that is like, what's the server it's going to live on? What domain is going to be pointing to that server? What's the database? What's the network that they're all connected on? Those decisions should all be made early. And if there's changes to those decisions as the project goes on, you can log those as architectural decision records, or ADRs, and those should go into your docs, your Docusaurus doc site. And so you can add a system prompt in, or not maybe a system prompt, but add rules into your Claude MD or your project folder to say like, hey, before you get started on any feature, or as you go before a prompt, make sure to check the Docusaurus repo and just see if there's been any ADRs, and make sure that all of your context is up to date. So you'll see a theme here. Everything is around basically context management and guardrails, and instead of just leaving it so open-ended, letting it do whatever, you're using the experience and everything that's been built for many years of how real enterprises ship software, and bringing that into your project will actually turn it into something that can ship, that can be iterated on safely, and is not just going to break and be super buggy. It might still do that, but at least you have a little bit more control. It is really just a mindset shift. You're not writing less with AI. You're still using AI heavily, but you're putting more focus onto directing and controlling the AI. If you want the templates that I've been using, the skills that I've been using with Claude to automate PRDs and plans, I can drop them in the link of this video. And I'm also a big fan of using the Playwright MCP for automated testing on the browser. So if this is the kind of workflow stuff that you like to hear or watch, then make sure you subscribe to your channel, because I go way deeper in on this stuff here. Thanks for watching. Peace out.